And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that lovely Brutal OSC as we have returned with the second half of the broadcast. We have returned with 3 remaining best of 3s here in OSC 2024 mid-season playoffs number 2. We've been working through the bracket, working through the matches, and up next, NightMare versus YoungYakov. Ooh, we're busting into some PvZs. Let's get ready, let's go. Now, we've already had an upset. Now, when it comes to this tournament, when it comes to these matches, there are some heavy favorites, right? You've got players like Spirit, for example. You've got players like MaxPax. You also have some big names, some big Korean names. I'm talking about players like Byun, like Shin, DRG, and NightMare as well. Oh boy, but we already had one big upset. We had 4Jimmy. 4Jimmy took down a DRG last week, and I mean, yo, if 4Jimmy can bring down DRG, can YoungYakov bring down NightMare, or will the favorite player still press on? Let's go, let's go. Anything can happen here. YoungYakov has been looking quite impressive. What I will say is that YoungYakov, he was an up-and-comer and a rising star a couple of years ago. I would say like 2020, 2021. I do feel like 2023, YoungYakov took a bit of a step back. He wasn't as active, he wasn't competing as much, and I was a little bit concerned that YoungYakov was going to silently retire, similar to Soul Spirit. For those who remember, Soul Spirit was also an up-and-comer, a very young player doing well, and then retired. So I was a little bit concerned that was going to happen with YoungYakov, but then at the start of the year, YoungYakov joined the Platinum Heroes, and he started competing again. He started being a lot more active in these online tournaments over the past couple of months, and has been getting better and better, getting better results. It's been great to see him return, and we'll see how he compares to NightMare. We shall see. As we are jumping into game number 1. Is YoungYakov, I feel like we always bring this up. Young adult Yakov, young adult Yakov. Technically still young, technically. He's not old Yakov yet, not yet. He's getting there. But here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of Alkion, and we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the red Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. Oh, going gas first. It is YoungYakov. And if you're in the chat, Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series. Best of luck, but already interesting. So it's going to be a 14-14. 14 gas into 14 pool, a very aggressive start. Why aggressive? Well, with earlier gases, you can rush into earlier Ling speed. You can also rush into an earlier Roach Warren as well. I'm curious how far YoungYakov will take this. Meanwhile, across the map, Gate expand to Cybercore. Probe Scout will get eyes on what's going on, and we'll see how NightMare responds and reacts to his opponent. You can see he immediately checks the gold. Immediately does check the gold base. It is not uncommon for Zerg players to take the gold on this map, so NightMare does check, does confirm it has not been taken, and now we'll check the natural and soon the main. The drone is spotted. Probe will check for the expansion, and YoungYakov is going for the gold! And NightMare, he knows. He will chase down the worker. We'll get eyes on the drone and will attempt to delay the expansion, but as NightMare is distracted, Lings are on the way. Ling speed is being researched now. It looks like we pulled out of gas. So 14-14, pulling out of gas. This is not going to be for a Bane bus. It's not going to be for Roaches, but Lings are moving out, and NightMare doesn't know. NightMare is in the dark as to what's going on. YoungYakov, really? This was a... no, does commit. Okay, I thought it was going to be a fake out. Does commit to the gold, but NightMare is vulnerable. Is very vulnerable. Zealot is on the way to defend back at home. Lings are flooding across the map as well. NightMare is aware of how late the expansion is. He's trying to get ready. Does wall off. Throws down the extra gateway. Probe is in position. We can throw down a building, but the Lings are soon to arrive, and the probe is not ready. The probe is not in position. The Zealot's not done, and we're going for the pylon. Ooh, not quite. There we go. Going for the pylon now. Zealot will pop out just in time. And can we save the pylon? We get surrounded! As Zealot does get surrounded, Zealot is going to fall. Does take down one Ling so far. Boys are being pulled. Zealot will go down, but alas, it looks like the pylon is saved. NightMare does save the pylon, but had to pull a lot of workers. Had to pull a lot of boys. And behind this, Ling flood. Remember, with that 14-14, fast Ling speed into the goal base, into a Ling flood. One way or another, the game is about to end. Either YoungYakov kills NightMare or he dies trying. Sentry's on the way. Big move here with the Sentry. We'll have a force field available. Shield battery as well. NightMare has limited information, but he does respond well to this. He's playing very safe. Shield battery, overcharge, and a force field. Adepts are on the way. The boys are here though. He pulls them. Oh my god, I thought it was the force field. He locks the boys down. Locks them out. Some of the workers do head into the main. But again, I just assumed that he was going to be mining from the gold. I didn't realize he was pulling the boys. Does fully wall off. Oh, and YoungYakov is locked out. He will eventually DPS down that gateway though. The gateway does fall. Lings are putting in, but there's the overcharge. We're going for the shield battery. Shield battery is under fire. There's how many? There's 2 Lings left. 2 Lings remaining. Down to a handful of workers, and I feel like NightMare, he has held. Pylon is killed. I mean, I say that Lings are trying to break in. They won't be able to. GG gets called, and NightMare will hold, and we'll take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. I was not prepared for the boys. But NightMare was. Thanks to the force field, thanks to the Sentry, NightMare, he was able to cut off any kind of drone drilling past the wall, of course, was able to fully wall off with the gateway, and NightMare had a very, very nice last second defense against the all-in from YoungYakov. GG. Whew, GG, well played. NightMare does take a lead. Now we're jumping into game number 2. We're going to be loading into Golden Aura. Let's go. Let us go. Young old man Yakov. Oh god. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the South Korean Protoss player leading the series 1-0. Can he take the 2-0? Is it over here and now? It is NightMare. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is YoungYakov. Down in this series, we'll see if he can bounce back here and now. Teen Yakov sounds weird. Do we say Teen Yakov after YoungYakov? Still thinking. For now, YoungYakov going for the expansion. Okay, this time, no early gas. No early gas, no early spawning pool. YoungYakov just going for a hatch. I imagine gas pool standard opener. Was forced to take the unnatural natural, but outside of that, everything should be working as intended. There we go. There's the gas geyser. So no chaos, no nonsense this time. Do appreciate it. NightMare back at home, gate expand. I'm sure NightMare is happy to see that the gas and pool are later than last game, and that the hatchery is on time. So we can slow things down and embrace a more standard early game. I emphasize early game because this can still lead into aggression later on down the line, can lead into a 2-base all-in, a 3-base all-in. We can cut workers at any time and go into roach aggression. YoungYakov has options. Go. This game will settle. From here, I imagine NightMare is going to be opening up Stargates. I say that the pylon is closer to the main, but a Stargate is still a viable option. Could try to go for some other hidden tech, into a Twilight Council, into a Robo. NightMare does typically thrive in the mid-game in PvZ. He's not the cheesiest of players. Can be quite aggressive, yes. But we'll see what tech structure he goes for. The Overlord is dipping in. And there it is. It is, in fact, the Stargate. So Stargate opener into Oracles. This will lead into a 3rd base. Everything is, again, by the book for NightMare. Everything looking normal. So NightMare is going to be pulling back. Likewise, Ling will slip in. We'll get a free scout of the main base, so YoungYakov is fully aware of the Stargate. and might even get eyes on the first unit as well, which again should be the Oracle. It should be. Meanwhile, Adept shading in, forcing a big reaction out of YoungYakov as he was not quite ready for this. Lings were out of position, so a lot lost mine time already. Good start for NightMare. This time Lings are ready for it. Oracle's on the way, and the Ling does confirm. So nice scout from YoungYakov. Just going to be an Oracle opener. Likewise, YoungYakov moving out across the map, hoping to delay the third base, as Adepts are back at home. Ling's getting in position. Oh, actually, gonna be Oracle into Phoenix. That I was not expecting. Okay. NightMare going for a Phoenix follow-up. This will be hunting down Overlords, and I'm curious if he continues Phoenixes or just gets the one to hunt down Overlords and goes for some hidden tech instead. Overlord is going to go down. Lings will threaten the third. Oracle denied across the map. And YoungYakov is getting some damage done, but won't get much. Yeah, Debs, they will clean up all these Lings. Lings are thrown away. Overlord falls. And NightMare is going for a second Oracle behind this. And again, just focusing on hunting down any stray Overlords. Overlords are pulling back home, getting back into more defendable positions. YoungYakov going for an earlier Roach Warren. This is suspect. So, I mean, kind of. It's very safe in a way. Typically, against a Stargate opener, especially an Oracle first, you would not throw down a Roach Warren this early on. There's no need to, but the Phoenix might indicate a Glaive Adept follow-up, so YoungYakov, he's getting ready for the worst. Getting ready for the worst case scenario. Behind this, Forge and Twilight Council looks like +1 and Blink. Initial Adepts are moving out. It's going to be 6 Adepts in total. 4 towards the left, 2 towards the right. Things are being active, and they do try to get this around. We'll catch one Adept, and we'll catch them all. Adepts are getting caught out. 4 of them will escape. But nice catch. Meanwhile, Roach production has begun, but YoungYakov is still droning and working towards a lair. So it looks like it was just a safety precaution. This Roach one, I mean, making a safety amount of Roaches. YoungYakov being as safe as possible. Even catching out another Adept. Gets 1, gets 2. Does catch both Adepts. Very nice catch. Oracles being active. These Oracles haven't really done much economic damage whatsoever. They threaten mineral lines, but they haven't gotten in. Oof. As the Oracles will have to retreat, NightMare taking a lot of damage. Gets 1 Queen and does get away. Whew, that was close. That was very close. Oracles will escape. Meanwhile, if a Sagemate gets thrown down, curious. Bearing in mind, this is going to be Blink Stalkers, not Charge Lots. I wonder if this is just to head towards Hive Tech, or if YoungYakov has something else in store. Especially against Charger Archon compositions, not uncommon to go for something like Swarm Host, for example, in this matchup. But I imagine this is just for a fast Hive. We'll see. As the Stalkers have been spotted. Phoenix into the main, getting eyes on any kind of crazy tech like Aspire. No Hydrogen. And there it is, 9 Swarm Hosts. Let's go. Swarm Hosts are going to be on the way. Now, this is a bold move. I'm not so sure if I'm fond of this for YoungYakov. Swarm Hosts, they have their place in this matchup, but against Blink Stalkers, it's bold. It's going to be 11 Swarm Hosts on the way for YoungYakov. We'll see if we can keep these Swarm Hosts hidden. If you can keep them hidden, keep them safe. Stalkers are poking in. Not too many of them. NightMare working towards Charge Lots. And more Stalkers on the way. YoungYakov, I was getting supplyable for a moment there. Breaking out. Swarm Host, a rally towards the right-hand side. NightMare, he doesn't see this. He doesn't know. He will for them. Oh, he does spot them. Swarm Hosts are spotted. NightMare pushing in. We'll chase down those Storm Hosts, getting ready back at home. NightMare has to pull back. He's out of position. And back at home, there are some Stalkers catching out one of the Swarm Hosts and forcing the Locust Wave as well. Yeah, the Locust Wave is lackluster. Doesn't get any damage. Can threaten the expansion, but I believe it should survive? Question mark. As things are getting chaotic. NightMare is hunting down the Swarm Hosts and he will get them. And most of the Swarm Hosts go down. The base, was that killed? Was cancelled. Not a bad start, cancelling the 4th. And YoungYakov doubling down with Ling, Roach Aggression on the left-hand side, trying to catch out the Stalkers. They're going for the surround. Late reaction by NightMare. Oof, gets caught out. And YoungYakov snowballing from here, rallying more Lings across the map, catching out more Stalkers. And NightMare's in trouble. He does have Storm, but he needs more time. The High Templar are not ready. Overcharge gets popped. YoungYakov going for the kill. Trying to break through, but he won't be able to. NightMare holds. He's barely holding on. Storm is coming in. There's still a handful left. NightMare still has those Storms, but still on 3 bases. Oh my god, the Storms are massive. Oh my god. The Storms, they shut down the Lings. And they soften up the Roaches. Locust, they dive in. Not getting much done. But YoungYakov once again can try and deny the 4th base. As Zealots split the main army, there's going to be 1 Storm available. That 1 Storm is so precious here. It's going to get spent. Takes down some Roaches and Ravagers, but Lings, they're flooding in, and we need a Storm. There's no splash damage. Yeah, no Storms left. YoungYakov, he's breaking through, getting on top of the base. The Storm Host didn't get much done, but it was the Ling Roach being active on the map, catching out the Stalkers and denying the 4th over and over again. Not just the one time. And Yakov pushing in between the bases. He's so close to breaking NightMare. Zealots are gaining value, getting on top of the Queens. Another Local Save coming in. Ravagers are going down. Oh, there's 4 Ravagers left. But not enough of a gateway army. And NightMare barely doesn't have enough. Has the base, but it's not going to get up and running. The base will fall. And behind this, YoungYakov on a decent economy, we're taking up into Hydras, into Lurkers. He's taking up. You see NightMare getting into double Colossus production. He needs a little bit more time. NightMare needs more time. More Lurker saves coming in. Colossus have arrived. They avoid the piles, but the Colossus, oh, he wants them. Oh, doesn't get them. They do pull away in time. NightMare, he's holding on. He's holding. Again, the local saves, they just buy time. Queens are getting caught out. YoungYakov, he has to get the hell out of here. Has to retreat. Now, YoungYakov, he doesn't kill NightMare, but again, he denies the 4th. He denies the 4th base. YoungYakov has his own economic lead, economic advantage. NightMare is oversaturated. At least should be, yeah, oversaturated in the main. So YoungYakov has more efficient mining, and even though the Storm Hosts haven't been able to do much, we have a Night Swarm here on the right-hand side, and Vipers are coming out. So the Hive is done. Vipers have arrived, and that is the answer to the Colossus. Is the Viper. NightMare does spot the Swarm Hosts. Ooh, forcing the Locust Wave to be wasted as well. Less than ideal. Again, the Storm Hosts this game have been more of a distraction than anything else. Except for the initial cancel, true. Which, you could argue, started everything. Was the initial cancel on the 4th. Meanwhile, NightMare building up, now on 4 Colossus, 3 High Templar, each with 1 Storm. But NightMare is stuck at home. And again, even though this army does look terrifying, it does look quite threatening. Vipers. Right? Vipers, abductions. They can abduct every single Colossus. Likewise, they could also be feedbacked. True. Are we coming in? Oh, the yikes! He gets 1, gets 2! Feedbacks 1 second too late. 2 Colossus going to be going down. Lurkers have arrived. And is there detection? Oh, there's a revelation. But it might just not be enough. First wave of lurkers are going down. Road Ravager pushing forward. The Colossus doing a lot of damage in the back line. The Roaches are very low. They're very softened up. The overcharge. Oh my god. The overcharge barely keeps the Colossus alive. Very impressive defense. NightMare holds once again. That was crazy. Barely saves the Colossus. Hunts down the lurkers. Expensive losses here for YoungYakov. Losing every single lurker. One lurker does make it out. And NightMare, he's bouncing back. Has to take care though. Pushing onto creep. Knight is behind the army. We can go first around. The Swarmers from behind. I think Hydra trying to keep up. Nice Swarm does finish. The yoinks! The inductions, they shut down the Colossus. Ay, ay, ay. Once again, Colossus go down, and that was the bulk of the army. That was the backbone. Swarmers, they don't turn around, they just keep going. They're going for the fourth. At the same time, NightMare getting into the lurkers. There's one lurker left. Barely does bar in time. Morzel diving in. We do get the revelation. And the lurker is going to be targeted. Oof, barely goes down. But we need reinforcements. NightMare, he's running out of steam. He needs more zealots. He doesn't have them. Barely not enough. Archons are targeted down, and YoungYakov, he holds. Across the map, the fourth base fell. Fourth base did fall to the Locust Wave. NightMare, if he was able to maintain his economy, then he could still be in this. I mean, technically he still is. But also the Colossus. Having a hard time affording any more. One Colossus on the way. High Templar coming in for Storm. Behind the Lings, they go for the High Templar. Oh my god, they force the pick up. The Ling Hydra pushing forward, going for the Prism. Storms are good, but the Storms are also being spent here on the first army. Prism comes in. We get the yoink. Not enough anti-air. Prism will get away. But the Lunkers, Pappy, they're waddling in. They're getting on top of the third. They take down the Zealots. They go for the middle line as well. The last mining base of NightMare. The only mining base, really. He's running out of resources everywhere else. Oh, will hold on though. Does force back the lurkers. Again, NightMare just refuses to die. It's like a lot of these defenses have been very impressive from NightMare. Like despite being down 20, 30, like 50, almost 60 army supply at times, even more than that. He's holding, he's surviving. But he needs a base. He needs an economy. As every time YoungYakov can barely not kill him. Oh my god, that's 9 lurkers there. 9 lunkers on the way. YoungYakov rotates. Swarmhurst is still being active. It's 7 Swarmhurst. I mean, they're helping. Lurkers rotate towards the left. Lurkers are coming in. Oof. Yeah, forcing out storms. There's one storm left. As lurkers, they outposition NightMare. They go straight for the third. The Nexus this time should go down. And nice yoink on that Colossus. Nexus finally falls. GG gets called, and YoungYakov will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. A very tense game, and again, very impressive holds and defenses from NightMare. Despite so much being against him, despite being down heavily in supply, he was able to pull off some incredible defenses and some incredible holds. Wasn't enough to recover in the game, but yeah, did keep it going for as long as it did. GG. GG, well played. Whew. We're now getting into the ace match, the final game of the series. We're going to be loading into Site Delta. Here we go. Getting into game 3. How does this story end? Will we get the upsets? Or will we be in a nightmare? As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the South Korean Protoss, the blue Protoss, being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player forcing the ace match. Can he keep that momentum going in game 3? It is YoungYakov for the Platinum Heroes. Whew. Let's go. Let us go. And I know that I was like downplaying the Stormhost a little bit, as for the most part they were creating distractions and buying time. But I mean, to be fair, the initial Locust Wave did cancel the 4th base for the first time, and that did give the Zerg player YoungYakov a little momentum. Was able to knock down that 4th base time and time again, and never really allowed NightMare to stabilize. By the time NightMare took his 4th, by the time he got into a 4-base economy, you could argue it was a little bit too little too late. He was playing too far from behind and was not able to recover. But we'll see where this takes us. As YoungYakov is going Hatch Gas Pool, this time taking his natural expansion. Not forced to take the unnatural natural this time. So standard opener out of our Zerg player. Meanwhile, NightMare opening up Gate Expand into Cybercore. Everything looking normal so far. NightMare just being as annoying as possible with that probe micro. Trying to bounce those workers around, even forcing one off the mineral line. Just forcing some small inefficiencies here and there in the early game. And is actually doing some damage. Probe gets away, back across the map. Yet to embrace our tech. Should be a Stargate opener. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say should be a Stargate opener, but NightMare looking to spice things up, going for a Twilight Council instead. Okay, Pappy, you have my attention. Let's go. It's gonna be a Twilight Council. This could be a DT opener into an Archon drop follow-up. This could be a Glaive Adept opener instead. We have options. Do have options. For the time being, we have not pulled out a gas, so I'm leaning more towards Dark Shrine and Dark Templar, but we'll see. We'll see if we end up pulling out. We have not. We have not, as the initial depth gets across the map, trading with Lings. Getting 1, getting 2. And we'll confirm some saturation. Getting eyes on the natural. Waiting for our follow-up tech. Robo into a Dark Troll. Never mind! Glaives. Now, what's interesting here is that if we're going for Glaives with 3 and 3 in gas, this could either be Glaives plus a Dark Shrine, or Glaives and extra gateways. Normally it's 4 gate Glaive Adepts. We could go up even further, up to 6. So far, 4 gateways. Oh no, he pulls out. Never mind. He pulls out a gas. So we have 2 and 2. 4 gate Glaive Adepts, and we're going for the 3rd. So this is not an all-in from NightMare. It is aggressive, that is true, and ideally it gets some damage, but this does lead into an expansion and into a later game state. Meanwhile, YoungYakov, it's on him to piece this all together. He has 2 Overlords, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. We have Lings just outside the base as well, trying to poke in. There is a Stalker, which is suspect, and YoungYakov, he doesn't like what he sees. Roachhorn. 4-minute Roachhorn from YoungYakov. Very safe timing for the Zerg player. Overlord is going in. And with this Roachhorn timing, it should finish up in time to make Roaches for the defense. So YoungYakov has the tools to defend, but it comes down to the execution. Likewise, he has SimCity, so he can fully wall off the natural to block off the shade. So YoungYakov is pretty well set up. Adepts are moving out. Behind this, Probe getting ready for the expansion. Again, this is not an all-in. Just not all-in as Adepts move out. We have 16 Lings to defend. The Overlord does get eyes on the Warp in. YoungYakov fully aware. I mean, he confirms as well with the Overlord across the map. And do we get a drone in position? We do not. The Shade, they can get Shade into the natural. Shade is cancelled. So far, they have control of the 3rd. Picking up some lava. Lings attempt to engage, but they cannot. Roaches are revealed, going for another big warp in. And then it is going to be the Dark Shrine behind this. It is that much more committed. So Glaive Adepts plus DTs. I shouldn't have second guessed myself. But can they break through? Prism takes a lot of damage. Ooh, Roaches are falling. Again, Roaches in low numbers. They can fall to Adepts. And they are being targeted down. Oh, down to 2 Roaches. Another Warping of Adepts and NightMare. He's breaking through. There's 3 Roaches left. Oh, the Prism. Up. He wants it. Oh my god, the Prism gets away. The Prism barely does get away. And now we can warp in Dark Templar in a couple of seconds. Dark Shrine is still not done. Meanwhile, YoungYakov, he walls off. How about who's really walled in? Adepts, they go for the Roaches. Once again, there's still 4. There's still 4 of them. 5 of them even. Adepts are finally being shut down. But is there a Spore? There's a Spore at the natural. There is no Spore in the main. No Spore at the third. And here comes the first Dark Templar. He's going for the hatchery. Oh, going for the Roach even. Is on A move. Less than ideal. Spore's repositioning. Do you feel like we're missing our moment here? Spore on the way here at the natural as well. That's shading in. DT's into the main. There is no Spore in position. We can go for drone kills. But YoungYakov, it has an Overseer here. Lair is done. Overseer's on the way. DT's will trade against Lings, I guess. It's damage. There we go. They get 1 drone. Overseer's done. And YoungYakov holds. Whew, okay, this could have been so much worse. I feel like the Dark Templar were lackluster. They got like a couple of Lings, they get 2 drones, not much else. They had a lot of potential. And YoungYakov does defend. Now, what I will say though, as the Adepts did outtrade, I want to say that the Adepts did quite well. NightMare has a worker lead. NightMare, he does have that advantage. He's on 3 bases, up on workers, taking into Blink and +1. Even though NightMare may not have ended the game, he's still in a better position. YoungYakov has to catch up. He's droning heavily, getting into Roach speed, +2, Banelings as well. Looks like YoungYakov is going to be embracing Link Bane Roach Ravager, which is a solid mid-game composition, but still needs a little bit more time to really embrace that. NightMare is already moving out. Ooh, a very crisp timing. Blink is going to finish up in a couple of seconds. And is YoungYakov ready for this? He is lacking Roaches. He has some Lings, that is true. But not many Roaches to work with. YoungYakov was droning, distracted by the DTs. We'll shut them down. Stalker's pushing in. And that is a lot of Stalkers. Adepts say shed into the natural. They will target down some workers. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. That's a kill in the 4th hatchery. And again, the Lings cannot chase off a creep. Not like that. There's just too many Stalkers and NightMare snowballing out of control. Again, the Adepts, they did trade very well earlier against the Lings and the Roaches. And NightMare is pushing in. And YoungYakov just doesn't have the numbers. Does try to engage. Lings trying to come in for a surround, but Stalkers, they come in from behind as well. And the Roach army here of YoungYakov, it's being thinned out. A lot of Roaches are going down. And YoungYakov, he cannot sustain these losses. GG gets called. It's just too much. And NightMare will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Shout out to YoungYakov. He did make a series out of this, but NightMare did come out on top in the end. Game 2 was wild on Golden Aura. Game 2 was definitely the highlight of the series, I feel. I mean, Game 1 was a lot of fun as well, but here in Game 3, again, the initial Glaive Adept build did manage to trade exceedingly well, did manage to give NightMare the breathing room he needed to get a 3rd base, to get it fully saturated. Because of the trades, YoungYakov, after initially defending, did not have enough left over to counterattack, to threaten the 3rd base of his opponent, to really keep NightMare busy back at home or get any counter damage done. NightMare was left alone, was safe and sound, and snowballed out of control. GG. GG, well played. NightMare does take it. And with that, we're getting ready for our next series, and I'm assuming it's a ZVZ. I didn't check ahead of time, and let's find out. It is. Let's go. We have a ZVZ ahead of us. We already casted a PvP earlier, and a Terran versus Terran. Now we get a Zerg versus Zerg. It is going to be Cham versus Eva. Let's go.